Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of my 2020 race season. This time we're going to be at Oulton Park for the second round of the Club Enduro Championship, once again racing for TWP in the Mazda MX-5, as we will be for the 5 rounds of this championship. Sadly, round 1 didn't go perfectly to plan. We had some struggles with straight line speed, as you would have seen if you saw the first episode. We're hoping that we've sorted some of those issues today, but we're still not entirely convinced, just because testing didn't seem to give up the best of times. We were hoping that we'd found the fix, and we did find a problem with the sensor in the engine, but we still struggled a wee bit for speed, so not entirely convinced we're going to be right back at the top, but we've got to give it a go. We should be quick enough to be in some way competitive. It's just a case of how competitive, and we'll see how the race goes. Yeah, so as I was saying, testing didn't go so great. We weren't really as quick as we were last year once again, which was a bit of a shame. But we're just hoping that, we're hoping that qualifying goes a bit better. We were on old tyres and stuff, so that could account for some of the lack of pace issues, but generally we're just a bit unsure at the moment. We don't have the same optimism as we had going into Silverstone, but obviously Oulton's a good fun place to drive, so we're really looking forward to it nonetheless. I don't know who's going to go out first, whether it's me or Nick. I'm just going to go and sort that out just now, but fingers crossed that we found something. The car's been to a rolling road last couple of days, and we've got a little bit more torque, a little bit more power, and we did have a sensor issue, as I said earlier, so we're just hoping, and if we need to do more than that, then we'll look into it after this race. Qualifying's in about 10 minutes, 20 minutes, so I'm going to get ready, head over there, and we'll catch up with you afterwards to see how it went. That was so annoying. It was like safety car, rain. Like nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, was it?
No. Do you want to lift back? So it's another kind of frustrating quali, but for different reasons to Silverstone. This time, basically Nick went out, did his 3 laps as he was going to, put in a nice banker for us and came into the pits. Not a competitive time, not as quick as he'd been doing in testing, but just a safe lap. And then I was going to go out and try and set as quick a lap as I could. But the safety car was out when I left the pits, and by the time the safety car came back in, it started to pour with rain. So the very first lap after the safety car, I thought I might have been able to get a clean one in, but we got balked by a few cars, and then the rain was so heavy that we were slipping around. So I knew that even if I pushed on, I'd barely be able to go quicker than a 205. And yeah, it was just impossible. So frustrating once again. So I thought I'd give you a wee tour of the inside of the car. We've got our ignition switch, an electric cutout, and starter button. We've got a fan there to keep our feet cool, and we've got a fire extinguisher pulley thing. Then it's literally just the gears, the steering wheel, nothing much else in here, it's fairly basic. We've also got our race logic data to give us lap timing and stuff like that, so there's not really a huge amount going on in here, to be honest. What we did do is compare some of the data to last year's running, and we found that we are dropping a lot of speed on the straights, and it's not just power, because we've actually increased the power if anything. So we're thinking the aero's making quite a big difference and costing us more straight line speed than the team realised. So we're going to make some changes to that. We're going to make some changes to the diffuser, take away some of that aero, try and reduce the drag a bit and see what happens in the race, but obviously we're not able to test it, so we've just got to go out and do our best. So you can see where we cut away some of the diffuser. So we've taken away some of the middle struts, and that should theoretically give us a bit less downforce, but also a bit less drag in exchange for that. I'm probably going to start the car this time once again, and then Nick will take over. So yeah, wish us luck.
Which is the car that's being started by Paul Subiani and hands over to Jonathan Hayes, and John Monroe will start number 59 before handing over to Nick Dougill. Alongside him, but the lights go out, the race gets underway, and it's Carl Swift that goes into an early lead, followed by the number 69 car in second place. That's Andy Schultz in the BMW. He can't quite, though, get ahead of the Lotus on the exit of the corner. This big field of cars that are still coming out of Deer Leap are well strung out.
And that car does rely quite heavily on the aerodynamics to generate front and rear downforce, so that is not going to help their speed in the long run.
Absolutely, and green flags at the exit of Cascades as well.
Oh,
I'm afraid there's a car on the roof, and that's number 66 that has gone over, and that is the Aid Wootton Seat Leon Euro Cup car. It is not the right way up, I'm afraid, and I think that's going to lead to some kind of intervention, but we can see that car on its roof. It's just like the normal race day programme, but because of the COVID-19 restrictions at the moment, we can't give it you in a printed form, but we can give it you in a digital form. So they'll complete the rolling lap behind the safety car, then we'll get back underway, and by that time there'll be about 87 minutes left to go, we reckon, Andy.
Fired up, which it does now do, and start coasting its way down the pit lane. Carl Swift, Rob Baker, excuse me, is getting ready, so Carl Swift should be in.
So this race is turning into a bit of an interesting one tactically. Safety car came out and it started raining now as well, so we're kind of hoping it doesn't rain too heavy or else we've wasted our pit stop in the dry, but we did get a safety car pit stop, so fingers crossed it's okay, but it's going to be a really weird race to see how it pans out. We don't really know how we're doing at the moment.
59 MX5, started by John Monroe, who we didn't get much time to talk about because he handed over to Nick Dougal pretty quickly in the race. John, very rapid sim racer as well as real world racer. Sim racing becoming this much bigger craze at the moment as a result of the lockdown and whatnot. And I know John's been competing in some 24-hour races online to a pretty high level. Didn't get much of a stint today, unfortunately, in Oulton Park, just the way it worked with safety cars. That car goes a lap down.
Does indeed. So, and off goes Wallace. Well, that's slightly bizarre. So it's just been passed by the leaders-elect, and he's gone straight on into the gravel at Druids. He's not got as far as the barriers, which is excellent news, because if you do get as far as the barriers, that can be quite nasty.
Down in the pit lane, John Monroe, fantastic start to the race so far. The MX-5's looking lovely out there. How's it going for you?
It's going alright. The car feels really nice, it's handling well. We're just a bit short of speed at the moment, which is a shame.
Well, I say you qualified in 31st place. You're up now into 21st, so up 10 positions. It's a great start to the race still.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're making the most of the situation, and I think we're still looking good for maybe a top 4 today, which would be lovely.
Down the pan when those safety cars came out.
Yeah, we're a bit unsure really because there's not really been a red flag in Club Enduro, at least that I can remember. So
there's Nick Dougal again, the TWP Together We Progress car. New colour scheme, white and grey. Very smartly turned out machine.
So we've had another race and another 4th place. This one, to be honest, is probably the best we could have done. I think we're actually quite happy considering the situation and with the finish we got, because we moved up again from qualifying. We played the perfect strategy, we couldn't have done any better in that sense, and the car felt good to drive and we managed to avoid a lot of the trouble. So it was obviously it was a bit of a crazy race, a bit incident packed for most of the field, but we obviously came through it, and in some senses 4th place is really good, but honestly, we're all just very baffled at the moment because we don't quite know where all this performance loss has come comparing last year to this year. So obviously these things can happen sometimes and motorsport can be a bit strange, but we are a long way off where we were. So we're basically going to go back to the drawing board, have a few discussions and try and work out where we've lost the performance compared to last year. The MRF tyres are the same, they're still working perfectly. The aero's still working in terms of corner speed in the feel of the car, but we're just slow. So either way, we're still good fun to drive and the racing's still great. We just want to try and compete for 1st and 2nd rather than 4th and 5th. So yeah, we'll come back stronger, and obviously it's slightly disappointing, but at the same time we're making the best of the situation, so that's all you can do. But anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much again for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again for the next one at Snetterton. It's about a month until the next event, so we've got a bit of time to work on things, and fingers crossed we can be a bit closer to the front.